Are you there, Mark?
No, not my headphones.
You're not?
Not you. I am.
1 second. Just one moment.
Caller.
What about now? Oh, what about now?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you not hear me? You can hear you, though.
I can hear me. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can hear you anyway because you're by the table. Oh, no, I heard you then. That's
What?
fine.
Did you hear me then?
I heard you.
Can you hear me? Sure.
Yeah.
Through here.
Yeah.
Okay. Just. God, that's painful, wasn't it?
Ray Allen and Lord Charles. He was freaky, wasn't he?
Who?
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen.
He had a ventriloquist dummy called Lord Charles with a monocle.
Oh, yes, of course he did. Yeah, with the chin that went up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another modern reference.
That's why our demographic's going younger and younger.
Yeah. Right, should we get on?
Yep.
Hello and welcome to episode 80 of I'm Fine, a chat between myself, Damo, and someone who won't be satisfied with this weather until his blood is literally boiling.
Hotter the better.
I don't get it.
No?
No, I'm sitting there kind of uncomfortable and you're like, oh gosh, just bring it on.
You look like Jack Grealish in a sauna.
I feel like him.
Except you haven't fallen over yet.
Yeah, good point. We'll come to that in a minute.
Oh.
Is the chat? Well, we can't not talk about the football, can we?
No.
Well, we could.
I just think it's really lucky that all the celebrities, all the MPs and all the TV presenters got tickets from the ballot.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, it all got like really lucky.
Someone put on Twitter today there has been more MPs at Wembley than it has been at any time together in the House of Commons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Piers Morgan was there.
All right.
Yeah, all of them.
Good for them.
Phil Schofield. Not little Lorraine Kelly.
Is she not?
No, she's Scottish.
Yeah, and? She can still go to a football game.
Not the English. No.
Not allowed?
No.
No, okay. I didn't know. You have to show your kind of nationality, proof of nationality as well as your proof of COVID status. Is that what it is?
You have to be prepared to take your top off and
what?
show your tattoos to show you proper
Oh, right.
English
So you need a
shine a laser in someone's eyes.
Yeah. Was that you?
No, I never.
Right.
I feel really. I used to go to concert festivals.
Yeah.
And lots of people would use lasers
Yeah, they
at
were
festivals,
big,
and it's like it's mind-numbingly stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how much damage they can really do.
They bring down planes.
What? When has a laser pen ever brought down a plane?
Well, it has.
Has it?
Yeah.
Not going to burn through anything, is it?
No, it didn't burn through, but it. Well, no, there is evidence. I know of.
You know of
7 cases.
7 cases.
7 pilots
Right.
contacted the show.
Right, and said, I've been...
Well, they haven't said anything, and they couldn't even see to
Oh,
type.
because they're dead. Can I carry on? This is a chat around the subjects of health, wealth, well-being, fitness, sport, wanting to do stuff, not doing stuff, getting anxiety about why we're not doing stuff, and then when we do the stuff, we don't realise we've done the stuff, and then we don't give ourselves any credit. That make any sense?
Yeah.
Should I do that again?
It wasn't quite as slick as your last one, which was quite rap-esque.
I'd literally just written it.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I was rushing.
At least you prepared something for the show, eh?
Yeah, I was feeling the pressure. You were just watching me type it.
All right.
I was feeling and I've gone ballsed it up. But that's wabi sabi for you. We're all work in progress, and this podcast is no exception. In short, it's spoken our perfectly imperfect lives, and if we can make just one person feel like they're not alone in all this...
MADMES. S.
Oh my God. You can't spell madness.
I was just trying to do it to MICKEY.
MOUSE.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hopeless. Please subscribe to us in your podcast app of choice and join us on Instagram if you can, if you have it, if you can be bothered. Coming up in this episode, warm up and stretch, usual stuff, usual catch. You're right, you've done a lot of the huff.
I think it's
What's the matter with you?
a lot of people when they're training with me yawn.
Am I boring you?
No.
Yeah, but I did that to start with, and I thought I was being rude, and you went, no it's kind of,
everyone
it's
does
because
that.
you're training, you need
Yeah.
the oxygen in your blood, blah, blah, blah.
So those sighs there were just oxygen sighs.
Isn't it funny that everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
Every one of your clients, big hippo yawns.
A client today came up with a classic. He was changing the weights on the bar, and he said,
Why don't you do it? You do it for me. I just sit there and let you
"Yeah,
work around me.
it's your time you're wasting." And he was doing it sitting down with his legs out. It's just a funny position to be doing it in. You normally sort of squat or crouch. Wayne said to, it's Wayne's son, and Wayne said to him, like, That's a really strange position to be sat in. I think it's because like when you get older, it's really hard to do that sort of legs straight out in front of you and your body upright.
Right.
And
like a weird doll. Who sits like that anyway?
Yeah.
You don't sit like that unless you're 3, do you?
Yeah, it was his youngest son. And he said, he said when I was on work experience, they used to laugh at me because whenever I was doing the job, I was always sitting down. And I went, what was your work experience? He goes, bricklaying. I had this image of just like 2 rows of bricks. Because
like, you can do the low bits.
Didn't quite follow it. Get his sort of city and guilds.
So not get one of those office chairs, you could pump them up.
Yeah.
Just so we could do another couple of layers.
Or we could just do bungalows.
Yeah. Yeah. Have them on his shoulders, couldn't they? And just, what else we got in this episode today? I'm going to keep this episode tight, Mark.
Yeah.
It's going to make a kipper's arse look baggy. That's the plan.
Tight as a wizard's sleeve.
No,
that's
the other
opposite action. Oh, that's nice tie.
Yeah. And in work-life ballet, we're going to be talking about a little bit of a link back to motivation and accountability from the last episode. And then seamlessly weaving into opposite actions.
Oh, I just mentioned that.
You did, didn't you? Not funny. And we're not going to talk about brain food because I'd like to get to it. I have something. But I've left a little question mark there because I might not get to it.
Okay. Well, let's be tight then. Let's just be boom, boom, boom.
Right. Okay. Mark, you're looking brown, than when I last saw you.
Yeah.
But that kind of blue, purpley blue.
Sort of azure, do you think?
Azure. Yes. I was going to say it matches your...
As you're asking.
It kind of matches your azure eyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What's new with you? Well, you just check your own biceps out then.
No,
what are you doing?
I just checked the colour at the top.
You flexed and then looked.
No, I didn't flex.
You did.
I didn't flex.
You did it now, aren't you? They look like that when they're...
No.
Is that...
No.
They're bulgy when you don't do anything.
What's new with me?
Great. Nothing?
Thank you for listening, and if you wish to subscribe and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
So we're going to keep it tight.
Yeah.
And short. Sorry, I didn't give you long enough
to answer.
Yeah.
It'll come out. Stuff will come out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've already mentioned the football. But I was thinking about, because I said to you that we met this morning, we trained this morning.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I was upset, Mark. Not that we won per se, but the fact that we didn't win in open play.
Yeah.
Like just finished them off.
Yeah.
Annoyed me, and the penalty annoyed me. But then I thought, the penalty that wasn't, and the one that wasn't was. So basically it leveled itself out.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just justify what,
I think it was someone who showed so much talent that the first reaction is you're a couple of inches from goal.
Would it be easier to score?
Yeah.
If you're that good.
And the way he's congratulated, it's all like other people knew he cheated. And like we said this morning, the commentators, he was clever. He drew the foul. It's like, it's cheating.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, we're through, I suppose. And someone put on Twitter, all the people that are whinging about the penalty are moaning about it. And I think they had a picture of the Lampard shot that was against Germany in the World Cup. It was 3-4 over. And I think there's a picture of Maradona with the handball as well.
Yeah, it does even itself out, doesn't it?
I suppose so.
Yeah, that was handball. Watching the replay.
Yeah. Well, going on last night, VAR wouldn't have even picked that up. Did it?
I saw a brilliant meme of VAR, the whole VAR setup, and the Queen doing it. Did you see that? That was good.
Yeah. So, talking of madness, some other things, basically talking about the things that we talked about this morning, we didn't kind of have the chance to get into because I was just lifting so many heavy weights. You
did a lot of reps. Your head doesn't believe it, but you did.
I didn't. Normally, I don't feel it till the day or 2 days after.
Okay.
I felt it when I got to the office. So that's that. I was like, holy crap.
All in the back, the back of your legs.
Yeah, my back, yeah. Just everywhere, Mark.
Posterior chain.
My posterior chain.
Yeah. Should have taken it off.
But yeah, I'm trying to be a punk.
Yeah.
We were talking about...
What fabric did you think when you saw that? Because I visualised what you just did. What fabric comes to mind when you just said what you said?
What did I just say?
Wanted to be a punk, and I was saying posterior chain. Just say
metal.
It, the first fabric. No. Underneath the chain, what's the fabric?
Leather.
No.
What?
Oh, I thought you would have come up with it. Tartan.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not proper... No. I mean, you're a proper punk.
Tartan just the Bay City Rollers, but
They weren't punk, were they?
No.
No. They tried to be like a little bit edgy for the middle of the road Is that? I can't remember. I don't know anything about basic.
Well, white suits trimmed with tartan.
Sounds shit. So what's the tartan bit then? Being a punk? What's
No, just some of the punks had tartan. It was just we used to have something called
It might have been Scottish.
Is it a bum flap? A bum?
What? You can't say bum flap on here.
It was something like a bum flap. I've said it twice now.
No, stop saying bum flap.
But they were tartan. They were. It was almost like half a skirt.
I'm going to write into Google tartan bum flaps. Right.
Little Lorraine Kelly's come up.
She has, yeah. Tiger of London bum flaps and straps.
Yeah,
that's what's come up.
That's fits the criteria, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Am I right?
A great way to add to your look with these printed bum flaps, or punk things up with some bondage straps.
Yeah. So you had the change and you had the bondage straps between your legs, and then a chain round your bum, but often on a tartan bum flap.
Yeah, tartan bum flap. God, it's just all learning, isn't it? This every pod's a school day, isn't it? Right. So you kind of had bondage. Did you put yours? Pardon?
It's
what?
A song.
What?
Cultural references. X-ray specs.
Right.
Polystyrene.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Only because you keep banging on about them at training.
Yeah. Have you heard the latest 1977 hit from X-ray specs?
So you into bondage, were you?
No.
Okay, but you wore bondage.
I didn't. I was no. My
so
my
how far
look
did you
was,
go on the? Did you have a bum flap?
I had a strange punk image, I think.
Right.
It was a bit like your cottage core.
Right.
It wasn't traditional.
Like a bit more chintz, was it? More kind of.
It was a bit more sort of granny punk. I don't know.
Did you have a purple rinse? I mean, what?
Oh, I used to.
Did you have purple hair?
I used to have plum hair.
What, plum coloured?
Yeah.
Or just
no, it was made out of
rub plums in it.
But when I didn't have dye, we used to use soap to spike it when times were hard, and food colouring.
We talked about that before. How
and in the
lovely it
mosh
must have
pit,
smelled.
it was just this. It was like a foam party. Very liquid and what's it called?
And everyone just comes out with flat, long hair because that was spiked.
Purple and green cheeks. Yeah, that changed the world.
Well, good job they had bum flaps to cover those cheeks.
We could always wipe your cheeks. Yeah. Oh yeah. See what you did there. I can't improve that.
This isn't going to be a tight episode, is it? It's all over the shop already.
Pull it in. Let's see if we can do it.
We were talking about the drug ban. We're getting serious now for Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yes.
The American sprinter, because I heard the first part of this story and you filled me in on the second part of this story this morning. So this is the sprinter who had some personal difficulties.
Yes.
She was trying to chill out a bit and smoked a spliff, I think, but I guess was part of the routine drug tests.
Yeah, and it's a banned substance.
Yes, and we were saying this morning, of all the substances, that the sprinter, something that probably isn't going to aid any performance.
No. Except eating competitions, maybe.
Yeah. And but that's what I heard, that she got banned, and then you kind of filled me in on the rest of the story that she was only banned for a month.
Which covered the individual 100 metres, but not the relays.
Yeah.
She's the fastest female American sprinter.
But then the ban lasted a month, which ended before
the beginning of August when the relays take place.
Yes. And then the team still dropped her anyway.
The American team, yeah.
You're like, well done.
That's like serving your sentence, isn't it? Coming out of prison and going, you can't have a job.
Yeah, and everyone just turns around and pretends they don't know you anymore.
She smoked a spliff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tough, isn't it? But most of the places in America now it's legal, and some of even the biggest states in America it's legal now. So why is it still so?
Well, because it's an IOC thing, which obviously has to cover the whole world. But I'm thinking, if you take the world as a whole...
Their team didn't go, okay, she's served a ban.
Oh, yes, exactly.
She's come out, she's fessed up, she's really sorry.
Yeah.
Let's kind of,
Yeah, and they've taken plenty of proper drug cheats back, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, yeah.
I mean, Lance Armstrong, I think, might have...
taken a
bit. But they had mini electric motors as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I've seen those clips of the...
Yeah, that's a little bit worse than having a spliff, I think.
Yeah.
An e-scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think...
It's just a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a shame she broke the rules for her, and in retrospect, I don't think she would have done it. The thing is, this used to happen in prison. Cannabis stays in your system a long, long time. So a lot of people in prison used to use heroin because for drug tests, it goes out quicker. And that's almost the irony of this, is that she could have taken cocaine at a party and or something else, and it might have been outside her system quicker. But but loads of people on Twitter, the rules, she knew. It's like, really? I don't know, it just feels, she's trained for 4 years, hasn't she? But if you're a pop star or famous actor or actress, it's just almost like par for the course, because you don't have a committee drug testing you. And you're going, well, in a way, why not?
But she broke the law, served the sentence, but they're still taking a moral judgment on her, aren't
exactly. And it'd be interesting if she's
they don't want to take her
because
they can't face the backlash that the team are going to get.
It's easier to sacrifice her. Listen to something today on Sam Harris, and I, at some stage, and I'll run it past you by, would like to say...
I had the mating strategies of Earthlings. Is this the thing you talked about?
Yeah, but there's another one I've listened to since then. I would like to say some controversial things. Not today.
Okay.
I want to run this past you first.
You want to book them in?
What? Yeah.
We should have a special.
I just suddenly was listening to this guy today, and I thought, we've got to a situation where certain things, certain, not necessarily words, but certain views cannot be aired safely for fear of offence.
Yeah.
But if some of those views are either pure facts and
you
provable
might not like
facts,
them, but they are the truth.
I have my right to offend you. And the second thing is, if they're discussed in the context of this is my belief, this is my feelings, and I can explain why it is, and people still want to disagree with me, that's fine. But I think we've sat here on a number of occasions and not said things because we don't want someone to go, oh, fuck them, they said this. And I'm actually thinking, I'm not going to come out with a tirade of homophobic or racist or different types of abuse.
No.
But there were certain things where I think I would like to express something, even if it upsets people, as long as I can do it in a manner that is respectful to all sides.
Yeah.
And the one thing that made me think about this, and I'm not going to be controversial, I'm not expressing a view on this, I'm just putting forward something. Bristol is noted, as we know, it's invented nearly everything in the world, as we said in earlier podcasts. But it is noted for Banksy. Banksy is probably the biggest cultural icon for some time. And like every quiz show, which well-known graffiti artist, it's a worldwide phenomenon.
Yes.
And they've recently put a rainbow crossing at the top of Union Street in Bristol to celebrate Pride Month.
Yes.
And it looks very colourful, obviously. It makes a positive message. I can't see any reason why anyone would feel that detracted or shouldn't be that. One of the things I do sort of think about on a personal level is certain causes I think are sometimes in the shadow of other causes. For example, disabled people don't seem to have the same support from multinationals or from councils. I don't see the same...
Basic access.
Yeah. And I don't... Well, not just so much the basic access, but the promotion of it. Some things are almost not quite as easy to promote, maybe, or don't sit, mental health or maybe certain things aren't quite... Anyway, that's by the by. The point is that someone has put graffiti on this crossing.
Oh, right.
And I personally agree with the people that said it's a bit sad and it's, there's work to be done. However, we cannot be in a position where we have gradations of what is right and what is wrong based on personal preferences.
Yes.
If Banksy puts something on a wall that is illegal, the fact it is humorous and looks good draws praise and everyone goes, oh my God, I got a Banksy on the wall.
Yeah.
And someone defaces, you could go, yeah, well, that's just defacing. That's just vandalism. It's somebody spraying paint on something.
Yeah.
And if you go, this is good and that is bad,
see.
You're then on very dodgy ground because you cannot build the reputation of a city on someone doing graffiti but because it's humorous, somehow it's okay. And someone would probably come and say to me, yeah, but they've defaced something that's homophobic. It's in some ways it's the freedom of expression, and I don't think it's right that someone's done that. And I think that person should be, punished, because I do think that is an act of vandalism. But if you take it to the nth degree, it's no more of an act of vandalism from him climbing up the council offices and spraying it.
Because some of the places he has sprayed, not only illegal spraying, but even the access, the way he's got up there to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's broken into zoos or broken into, government buildings and stuff. Yeah. So the point I'm making is that and it's obvious I'm not condoning that. And
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't happen, and I feel sorry that it did
It's a
happen.
like for like action.
Yeah.
When you remove the trend or the groundswell, that groundswell of the moment. We've talked about that before in training, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's topical at the moment. Next month there'll be something else we're talking about.
Yeah.
But now it's all about pride colours, isn't it?
Yeah.
And who's wearing it, who, especially in football and lighting up stadiums or not.
Yes.
Or
And it has been politicised.
Yeah,
but I think
has,
why I'm saying that now, going back to the example that we gave of the athlete having the spliff, is that you just said, I don't think we will talk about the New Zealand weightlifter. But the situation is that there are some things that on the face of it are a person taking drugs that affects their body and a person taking a drug that affects their body. Yeah. Probably less, but but one because of political pressures or because of social pressures is almost accepted, and another one is vilified. And that's what I'm saying. It's becoming quite selective that somebody can do two things that on paper and objectively are the same thing. They're both vandalism. But the treatment will be different because of the nature of the vandalism. And obviously it's like I'd rather see a Banksy than someone vandalize a pride crossing. 100% I'd rather see that. But it gets to the point now where opinions and pressure, and this is going back when I was saying about the football, you look around at the football and you see all these celebrities hugging each other. When England scored the goal, is it Emma Hayes and Ian Wright cuddling each other, and then as soon as the camera's back on, they have to be socially distanced, and it's like, this is all a bit of a game. So that's all I wanted to say, is that there would be things that I'd like to comment on in a rational way and just go, why is it that this is difficult to express? Sorry.
What? What?
No, what I was laughing at. People who organised a Bristol street party after England's semi-final win have been slapped with a £10,000 fine. Loud music coming from two houses and 200 people had gathered in the road. They went into one of the houses and issued a £10,000 fine to its occupants for breaching COVID rules. What the fuck? What the actual fuck?
It's a lot of money.
There was more than 200 in Wembley, I reckon. And that...
Yeah, it was more than that.
What?
No, but we talked about this, Mark, this morning. It was a test event, wasn't it?
Well, what about the...
Because somewhere there was a control event, wasn't there?
Square after,
We've said this, there's another Wembley next door with exactly the same game on.
But Denmark won that.
Fair Square,
Which proves that Denmark have a better COVID strategy than us.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it tight. Next.
Motivation and accountability update. How's Damo getting on? All right, I've written that.
Damo?
Yeah.
How are you getting on?
Well, Mark, it's very interesting you should say. So, last week, you did a body composition on me.
Yep.
Not a drawing of me. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Draw me like your French girls.
Story. Yeah.
Because I was a bit worried I'd dropped the ball.
What, by saying I'm going to do something and then...
There was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I don't feel I've necessarily smashed this week, but I was worried that I felt I'd put on weight, and I had, which wasn't necessarily a surprise. But all the stats that you sent, I've got them here.
Yeah.
I think you said they were fucking impressive. I think were your words in your text, which kind of cheered me up no end. So I had put on weight, but all the other things were quite good, weren't they? Which is promising.
I was speaking to someone this afternoon who I was training, is that the I was going to say the weight of the scales, that's not the right word. The emphasis of weight is disproportionate because you can weigh more and every one of your factors has improved. So the weight is irrelevant because it's just because it's more doesn't make it a negative. But I think that becomes the one thing that everybody wants to reduce.
Yeah. But all my things had come down. So my weight was up, my BMI was down.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it's gone up.
Yeah.
No,
your BMI can't. Your BMI is just a correlation between weight and height. So if that has to have gone up if your weight went up.
Yeah, that has gone up. Body fat down, which I was surprised at. Total body water was up only slightly.
It's up because you've
it was so bad before.
No, because you've increased muscle mass and muscle holds water better.
Yes, that's right.
So even if you're not drinking more, your body is more efficient with it.
These are important things, Mark, for our listeners to take on board, because we probably get misled, don't we?
Yeah.
Muscle mass. My muscle mass was up, as you just said. I'm just doing the reading. Physique rating.
Yeah, that's I would say that's the only part of this that it has some subjectivity to it.
Okay.
There's rankings that the people that do the test almost give you like, what number are you?
2. It's been 2 forever.
Yeah, 2 is a sort of like,
meh.
You need to lose a bit, mate.
Right.
It's a bit like when you get your sort of fortune tellers on the end of the pier. It's going like, could do better.
Yeah, okay. My bone mass was up.
Yeah, and that's so important. Because, as we've said before, nothing except resistance training can actively influence bone density. The only activity. Things like calcium and that can.
My BMR. What is my BMR?
Your basic metabolic rate. So that's what your calories that you burn. So I'm guessing that's gone up.
It has gone up.
Which means you burn more calories.
By about 200 calories.
So
is this the one where I can sit on my arse, eating What's-Its, watching Homes Under the Hammer?
You've got a free Domino's because you've got 1,400 extra calories a week that you're burning just sitting on your arse.
Right, cool.
You're increasing arse. Yeah.
Rude.
So the more efficient your body is, so the better ratio of muscle to fat your body burns. It also has an impact because someone's going to go, well, it isn't just about ratio to muscle to fat. If I've trained people before that have been 24 stone or something, they will have a high BMR because their body is having to burn a lot of calories to carry the 24. So it isn't just muscly people have a.
That's why it's good because looking at these things in isolation, you can get the wrong idea.
But everything was positive on yours. And that's against a backdrop of you not necessarily feeling you are making progress. And then that comes to the word that you're probably going to...
Yeah, my metabolic age is down. I'm younger.
Yes.
It's actually a year under my real age.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yes.
And this is the important one for me. And it's gone up. Is my visceral fat because I'm worried about my organs. That's gone up by 0.5%.
This is why, and a lot of people go...
It's the stuff you can't see, isn't it? Is the fat inside.
But a lot of people have a go at these body scans and go, oh, it's not an exact science. But what we've just read out is, your diet hasn't been good.
Yes.
And therefore you've put on weight.
Yes.
And therefore the stuff you've been eating, we've already discussed, is likely to have an impact. It's likely to have an negative impact on the fat around your internal organs. So we know all of that. What you didn't know is the fact that you've come day in, day out, trained, become stronger, all the other markers which you can't see have improved. So it's almost...
And I was a bit despondent about, I didn't really want, I didn't think it was going to be good reading.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think, which will hopefully bring us into the next section, which you've kind of just covered, is that me just turning up isn't just turning up. I'm probably doing myself down. Just turning up isn't, I'm minimizing that by using the word just, aren't I?
Yes.
I'm turning up.
Yeah.
Even when my head isn't in the game. My body isn't always, but sometimes I'm on autopilot, and I've had kind of sessions where I'm not even thinking, and I'm lifting. But then when my head's kind of getting a bit chatty, it's telling my body it doesn't want to do it. But I'm there, and we're doing something.
And we've been a bit stricter on the chat. You did like 48 minutes or whatever it was of almost
listening
without a
to
break.
You. Oh right.
No, but we have cut that out. It did get to a bit.
Yeah,
that was the case. And today, like you're saying, you got to the office because we absolutely did compound exercises which are going to hit your big muscles. Yeah,
it's good. What we also got onto, and this will hopefully make a bit more sense. We were talking about, the not resistance in terms of weight training, but resistance in terms of resistance to doing the things we probably know we ought to be doing, and that can be all sorts of reasons. That can just be, I guess, apathy. That can be fear. That can just be anxiety. It can be all sorts of things. Sometimes I was trying to, which I couldn't do last week, was articulate why I wasn't doing the things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Why I wasn't able to do the things I know I like doing that undo the mood that I'm currently in.
Yes.
But also when I do them, they don't actually do the thing that they normally do. So what is that about? And you go, well, what's the point? Because it's not going to make me any happier or more anyway. And you kind of find yourself in this.
So to Tracy, you're saying, going out on my bike in the sun, cycling in the sun makes me happy.
Yeah.
But you're saying because of where your head is at the moment, if you went out on the bike in the sun, although normally that would be your response, it's not going to have that impact. Yeah.
And that is upsetting.
Yeah.
But it's enough not to do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be upset.
Yeah.
Rather than just turning up. If you were waiting for me out there on your bike, I'd probably go, I'd get my ass out of bed and come and join you, but because it's just me and it's only me alone. So I think there's a big part of having a PT and having someone. We talked about accountability last week, and having an accountability buddy. I think that's really important. But then we were talking about resistance, about doing things, and you said you'd made a phone call this week.
Yeah.
Which is, which you don't like making phone calls, which,
no.
I can kind of see that. And then you started talking about opposite actions, which is a technique, mechanism
it's part of emotional regulation.
For changing your outlook of something.
Just taking a step back. So this is, I'm in about week 30 out of, I think, 34 weeks on my dialectical behaviour therapy. It was interesting. I was speaking to my therapist and I was saying, my understanding has improved, my use of strategies has improved. There might not necessarily be a change in life per se, but my ability to understand things and to start having some cognition about them is changing. And I think the difficulty for me is that I want to change the big things. I want to be decisive and progressive and positive, but it's these baby steps that we talked about before. And what happened with this, so emotional regulation is one of the 4 strands of dialectical behaviour, and this opposite action just hit me like a brick in terms of going, it makes sense because it's a dialogue, and I've been saying to you how I talk to myself in my head, and so what happened is I changed the tone and I changed the voice in my head.
We talked about that last week, didn't we? The tone of the voice in your head.
Okay, well, we'll just take a step back in terms of looking at ego. So one of the situations that can happen with BPD and in life generally is this idea of being stuck, and I think we said something interestingly today along the lines of there was elements of our life that were getting through that chunk, like getting through weights, getting to work, getting through lunch, getting through tea, in order to get to bed, in order to get up. And it was maybe
as far as we were looking, I was talking about this as far as I'm getting, it's just the next thing in front of me.
Yeah.
Which some might say, you're living in the now. It's hardly living in the now. It's hardly
surviving in the now.
And living in the next hour.
Yeah.
Which isn't quite the same
and
thing.
I was thinking that about the constant thing on holidays, and I'm thinking, I'm not planning for any holiday, and having not been vaccinated, I'm going to come across a whole number of problems because of that. But it was almost me thinking, well, never mind the holiday. I'm still wondering about how I would pack my bag and how I would order a taxi to get to the airport or how I would book the parking. So all those steps before I even would, think of getting into an aeroplane. And so what I'm hoping is that my therapy will allow me to take actions that are more beneficial to me rather than being stuck in emotional mind. So it's bringing in the wise mind. And the bit I want to say about ego is because obviously Instagram listens. I came out of therapy and then 2 minutes later, Instagram decided to tell me what I needed to know.
It's probably not the best time to have your
phone on,
personal device recording you through your therapy sessions.
Yeah, I don't say much. So, as I said, my therapist was saying about being stuck, and this came is how our ego can keep us stuck. To be honest, I do follow this person. It's called we'll put the links on. I do follow her. She's an American psychologist. Dr. Nicole Lepera, Lepera. Oh, she's got 4 million followers.
Okay, cool.
And it was really interesting. This is one thing I love on Instagram, and when it goes followed by, and she's followed by one of my clients, who I've never mentioned it to, and she's followed by Zuby, and at the moment I'm a bit in love with Zuby.
Yeah, you are,
and I think, it's like me and Zuby are basically, he's moving to America actually. So
it's basically what? Your twin?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, so.
Or is it your crush? I mean, quite
my special person for today. So the doctor has just mentioned a few things, and I think it's really worth putting this because it ties together things we've said before without even knowing that we've said them in a way.
Cool.
So every human has an ego. It's the part of the mind that holds your identity of who you are, your beliefs, and what you believe about the world around you. And one of the things it says in here, it's this voice which tries to make sense of our own experience. And this phrase I like. This voice is actually not our own. It's the internalized voice of those closest to us from birth to age 7. We used the age 7 thing, exactly the age 7, when we were discussing foster children, that basically if we got them after the age 7, and it's almost like this ego thing seems to be the answer, that life experience for those 7 years is so ingrained and what you're told and shown and exposed to. So the ego doesn't have to be seen as a negative thing, necessary part, because it protects us from pain, because it's like, questioning everything around us. But it can become negative when it's fragile, i.e. it's been wounded, or we are unconscious, unaware of the ego. So one of the things that I've been covering in therapy is around secure attachment. I have attachment issues, and this is around the subject of safety. Now, I had a very, very safe upbringing. I was protected from a lot of things, but it's only in retrospect that the nature of that protection didn't have the attachment, the emotional attachment. I had stuff to eat. So you could go,
I had food in my belly, I had a roof over my head, food. I had a bath on a Sunday. Those things, but you didn't have...
I didn't suffer per se, but I didn't have the other things that make your life complete at that age. So there was things I was seeking. Also things about expressing ourselves because of the control that I was put under. It's very much like I recognise a lot of my thoughts were, I wasn't given the choice. Like my 3 daughters are all very... opinionated, and I think I am now, but at that time I was told what to believe. So this is what you will believe in, whether it's religion, the casual racism of the age, hearing things and actually finding myself being in a multicultural school and being casually racist because that's what happened at home. And not ever questioning it, because in my younger age
but your experiences outside of the upbringing from your parents probably had quite a profound effect on you, didn't it, in terms of your openness and tolerance, and which you've obviously passed on to your kids.
It has negative. Well, it has.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm not knocking those 7 years, but there's some things that are sometimes there that are battling to,
and they're doing their bit. They're doing the best they can.
Yes.
There's no ill feeling there, but it's just in retrospect, and the circumstances that you found yourself in, or the life experiences you've had or haven't had. You can start, finding holes in the jigsaw puzzle, right? Or you consciously made sure that, I imagine, you offered that to your kids, that you probably... Did you do that consciously, do you think?
I think sometimes consciously in terms of, I mentioned this,
just in terms of, encouraging them to have their own, make their own minds up.
From early on. Feel that they can express that, even if it's, and Constance, my youngest daughter, quite often will not pull me up, but go, this is how it is, and feel confident enough to express that. Not in just sort of picking a fight, but feeling confident that she feels that she can express that, even if we disagree with it. Whereas I can remember things like, especially around things like religion, it was almost like, I'm going to sit you down, Mark, and tell you this is what happens, and this is what happened in the Bible, and this is what you believe in. There aren't any other religions. There's only this. And when you go to school, you're going to go to chapel on a Sunday, and you'll believe everything you're told. And it's interesting. I became confirmed when I was 14. I'm not pro-religion now, but I got to the point probably from those first 7 years of almost feeling a guilt. So I used to wear a crucifix. Like, this is early teens. I'm deciding to wear a crucifix. There wasn't many people that got themselves confirmed, and it was my idea, but there must have been some pressure and some nurture. And then I got to like 17, 18, and I'm going like, I don't even believe in God, but I've gone through this massive process.
I'm fully signed up.
There's some things lacking. I still keep going on about Noah's Ark. So all I was going to say about the wounded ego, so if you like, the fallibilities of it, she listed a couple of things, and I was thinking the interesting link between this and BPD that we've discussed on the 3 BPD specials. Having a black and white, right or wrong mindset, being strongly attached to certain identities. And I've said to you constantly, I have to be the bodybuilder, the sprinter, the mixed up guy with mental health problems. I constantly have a title underneath. I just can't be Mark. Being stuck in the thinking mind with little awareness of emotions. People around me will see me as an emotional person, but I make a hell of a lot of mistakes emotionally. Feeling like differences of opinions are direct threats to you. And I said before we started the pod, just having a quiet discussion with a client about the football and him disagreeing with me, I was going like, seriously, fuck off. Like, why are you attacking me? And he was just mentioning someone being fouled. And I'm going, I was feeling the pain of him saying something contrary to me.
Yeah.
And attempting to gain lover approval through external things like achievement. And that's still happening. I'm still hoping that I'll be able to run again and like get validation from being a very fast old man. And it's like, it is tiring. You know, it'd be nice to be validated just for being you.
Yeah.
So that's the whole ego thing. And how I feel that leads into opposite action is this was described really well. So if I just give it a practical example. Yeah. So I might use the phone call one.
Yeah,
so there's under dialectical behaviour therapy, there's a number of emotions. So we're just going to deal with one. So the emotion is fear. So if you identify that emotion, as I was saying to you this morning, there's a whole continuum. So fear can be unease or it can be terror. And what the opposite action does in a way is assess the situation and go, is what you're doing relevant and what's the word I'm looking for? Proportionate.
Yeah,
is it proportionate to the fear?
Yeah.
So my fear on answering a phone call, I'm seeing the phone ringing and my default is I'm scared of phone calls, I'm scared of speaking to people, I'm having a sense of fear, I will not answer it. Looking at the opposite action, if fear comes along, your emotional response is run away. Opposite action goes face that fear.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to continually run away and I'm never going to answer the phone for the rest of my life, which is going to become awkward.
Yeah.
So the phone's ringing and I'm trying to go through my therapy at the same time. And the questions were, is this threatening your life? So if it's fear that's threatening your life, if someone's going to ring you and go, if now you've answered this, I have to shoot you, then don't answer it. If it's someone...
Like I said to you this morning, you can't take the chance, Mark.
Hang
up.
That's how I've lived so long. If it's someone, if your fear is that someone is going to harm you or you know, going to harm you, then it's a justified fear. You're going to run away if someone's going to harm you. So I kept going down these gradations and got to the point that someone wanted to speak to me. So my fear wasn't proportionate to the fact I was going to run away. It's a fear I could face because if it got too bad, I can hang up. And it's a garage who are about to have my car. So and I literally got it just before he hung up. And so what I did is I faced the fear. So the opposite action, my head's going, my emotion is going, run away, run away. You don't answer phone calls. You don't know who it's going to be. I did know who it's going to be. And when I answered, he was a delightful man. And he just wanted to check a few things that helped when he serviced the car today. Great garage, picked up 3 hours later. I don't like going into garages or phone shops.
But you said this morning that unless you're going to come to this, the alternative of that, if you don't answer it, that you're going to have to call them back.
Yes.
And that was enough to make you pick it up.
Yes.
Because that's worse.
Yeah.
Actually calling someone than actually taking a call.
Yeah, and I don't think I would have called him back, in which case the car would have turned up and he was going, this car is leaking petrol. If only you told us, I could have got a pipe to mend that. So by facing the fear, it had a positive outcome for me. And of course, that's on a minimal level. That's...
Yeah.
But I was speaking to someone today and we were talking about it and they were trying to understand it. And I said, it's this thing about proportionate response. And if you can have that dialogue with yourself that goes, I think we discussed this a couple of pods ago about going into a forest at night. If you have fear because you know there's bears there, but if you know it's the forest at the bottom of your garden and it's got a few grey squirrels and that's about it, is your fear proportionate to facing it? And I guess fear is in a whole host of ways, but I found it a very good cognitive response to actually think about. It's almost like you're a bit over the top here, Mark. It's having a word with yourself, like, seriously, what can go wrong? But by having that dialogue, I answered the phone and I mentioned the thing about looking in the waitress's eyes, didn't I?
You did last week.
Yeah, and that was another opposite action, you see, because what I do when I'm out is because I don't want to speak to anybody, I just look at my plate.
Or the
I
menu.
don't order. Or if there's someone and I've got to have dialogue with them, I'll tend, like, I don't want anything. I just go, no, I don't want to order because I don't want
interaction.
So I was saying in therapy on Saturday, this is the thing now, I need to know the colour of the person's eyes who's serving me. And suddenly that means I've got to face that fear because it isn't a proportionate fear. Yeah. Most people serving you aren't going to stab you.
Yeah.
It's bad for business. Except in the Toby Carvery.
Where anything goes.
Yeah. So I liked it. And we can maybe post a few links to
that'd be good.
To other ways of doing it.
I did mention, I just remembered in the last podcast we're talking about that I must remember to mention the 5-4-3-2-1 rule by Mel Robbins. And I think our resident army captain emailed.
Okay.
There's an email for you in the inbox, by the way.
Okay, right.
Have you not seen?
No.
I left it unread for you because it said, "Dear Mark," and I'm not going to look at it. It's not for me. But he said, please talk about that. So Mel Robbins is awesome. Go check her out. If you haven't, I'll put the links up. But go and read about her. She's ever so good. So the 5-second rule is simple. If you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must physically move within 5 seconds or your brain will kill it. Mm-hmm. The moment you feel an instinct or a desire to act on a goal or a commitment, use the rule. When you feel yourself hesitate before doing something that you know you should do, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and move towards the action. Mm-hmm. There is a window that exists between the moment that you have an instinct to change and your mind killing it. It's a 5-second window and exists for everyone. Mm-hmm. If you do not take action on your instinct to change, you will stay stagnant. You'll not change. But if you do one simple thing, you can prevent your mind from working against you. You can start the momentum before the barrage of thoughts and excuses hit you at full force. So what do? So just start counting backwards to yourself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The counting will focus on the goal or commitment and distract you from the worries, thoughts and excuses in your mind. As soon as you reach 1, push yourself to move. This is how you push yourself to do the hard stuff, the work that you don't feel like doing, stuff that you're scared of doing and that you're avoiding. That's it. It's 5 seconds and that's all it takes. There's loads more stuff on it. There's a whole book on it as well. But one of the things I remember her, I think it's in the book, where she says she struggles to get up and go training in the morning.
Yes.
But she sets her clothes out the night before, which helps. Mm. But also when she gets to her clothes in the morning, there's always that, do I put them on? And she does this for herself. And in that moment, it just break of kind of narrative or something. Yeah. Just that disruption to that negative energy just gives you enough to either pick up the shirt or pick up your shorts and put them on. And on a Tuesday and Thursday before I come to see you, just getting up early because we train early. If I get up and my stuff's I've already got it out ready, I'll put it on. Yeah. And as soon as you put it on, it's like my cycling gear. As soon as that goes on, I'm doing it. Yeah. So it's just helping yourself get over those things. But it's good. I won't get into it anymore. But I think
that is closely linked with opposite action. It isn't. It isn't to the depths. It's almost
no. It isn't going through the process of is this going to be detrimental to my health and what's the worst that could happen. I think it's just breaking you out of the habit, the bad habit you're in, or that natural. I think we're hit with negative thoughts all the time.
Yes.
I think we try to convince ourselves not to do things more than we convince ourselves to do things.
Yeah.
I would argue.
Yes. I agree.
But I guess in that 5 seconds you can come up with your own, couldn't you? Or think about something, or go through a set of questions you need to ask yourself. Why am I doing this? Just something to disrupt your usual pattern.
Yeah, I think the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 would almost come at the end of the opposite action. So it's almost if I'm seeing the phone ringing from the garage and I've got to this point of going, actually, you're not going to die, answer it.
Yeah.
It's like you got 5 seconds before the devil on your shoulders going, well, you don't know he's not going to kill you.
Yeah, you do it later.
And that's one of the things that last little thing just tying in on this that was very interesting is that we were discussing pain and suffering today in therapy. I think I've said this before on the pod, but it became very apparent to me today. She was saying no matter what pain or more suffering, no matter what suffering you're going through at the moment, mentally, physically, whatever, you're still alive.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of your brain that's going, it might be shit, but you're not dead.
Yeah.
So doing something different than suffering, like being happy or taking that risk or, whatever it happened to be, you could end up in a worse situation.
Yeah.
So it's almost easier. At least you're still alive. So just keep going. But obviously you're not, it's going back to your phrase at the beginning, it's not living in the now. It's just surviving for a day, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Mel Robbins has done well out of her book. So is that the title of your book?
The title of my book.
Might be bad, but at least you're not dead.
Yeah.
I've been booting this from podcast to podcast, and I'm going to do it right now, which is what makes a scent soothing.
Okay.
Right?
No, there's a little pause there because it's relevant.
What?
You don't know it's relevant.
To what? It's relevant to, I don't know, something you're about to...
Well, the new business, the secret business.
Oh, the business. Oh, that.
Yeah, I've just been stocking.
Yeah. Stocking?
Yeah, stocking goods.
Oh, right, I thought you said stockings. I thought, is that the new business? I'm into that. These ones you put on your head and you're going... Remember there's a time when you couldn't walk in a petrol station with your helmet on?
Yeah.
I can't. I'm embracing that now. It's great, isn't it? It's face covering, isn't it?
Did they let you do it?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, I've got the dark visor on my helmet.
Yeah,
I look like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care.
No, why I was sort of smiling is that I've got two sort of lots of samples through for something that I'm going to hopefully use in the business, and they're both sent.
We can't talk about this, Mark. It's top secret.
Okay.
Someone will steal the idea.
Okay. Delete.
Okay, yeah. Our sense of smell is triggered when fragrance molecules attach to a special cilia-covered olfactory receptors in the nasal cavity. Those receptors then send electrical signals directly to the olfactory cortex of the brain, which in turn talks to the memory and emotion centers of the brain, like the hippocampus, amygdala, and frontal cortex. All things we've talked about before.
Yeah.
A study out of Japan strengthens the theory that some smells can act like nature's own anti-anxiety medication, tweaking our brain chemistry in ways that mimic the effects of prescription drugs like Valium and diazepam, in the journal Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience. In a series of experiments, Japanese researchers ran mice through mazes, poor maces, through mazes and other rodent stress tests. Feeling a bit uncomfortable with that, when exposing them to aroma called linalool, the organic compound that gives lavender its sweet floral scent. From previous studies, they suspected that the linalool would lower anxiety levels in the mice, which it did, but the scientists also wanted to test the hypothesis that lavender's calming effect went straight from the mouse's nose to its neurons. They also included this is a control, talking about Wembley, right? So they included mice in the study that were asnomic, meaning they had no sense of smell.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's a control.
How did they know?
And they asked them.
So
can you smell this? And they went, no. Chocolate mouse.
They were always dusty, weren't they?
My mouse had no nose. How did it smell? Awful. You what? What did you say?
No, the white chocolate mice.
Yeah.
On the retro sweets, they're always like, because white chocolate isn't even really chocolate, is it? It's just fat
no, that's
and
like
sugar.
a different. But you don't get a chocolate bar which is made of the white mice chocolate, do you?
No.
That's a different chocolate altogether.
It's like Economy Crisps. They're from the same factory. Wagon Wheels, Economy Crisps, white chocolate mice.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do they know they can't smell?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Okay.
Those mice showed no effect to exposure to linalool, proving that the olfactory system was definitely the delivery mechanism.
Okay.
This could be good. Drugs. You looked at your watch. Don't do that. When I'm...
No, I tell you,
it makes me feel sweaty.
No, just let me interject. I was saying today, I think I said this to you.
And I was taking my time, Mark, reading that.
But when I look at my watch, I guess the time.
Yeah, you said that this morning. Yeah.
And I just realised I was doing that.
And you were a minute out this morning.
Yeah.
And you were quite proud of that.
Yeah.
How
think
far
I was
a
couple of seconds out. I think it had just turned. Right. No, what I was thinking was when you said keep this strict, I was thinking if we can do this by 9:15, fair play to us.
Yeah, I think we will.
Good.
If you didn't
interrupt.
Yeah, mess with my flow. Drugs like Valium, Xanax, clonopin and diazepam are all members of the same drug family called benzodiazepines. One of the causes of clinical anxiety is overactive neuronal activity in the brain. Benzodiazepines can inhibit or calm down neural activity by binding to particular sites on neurons called GABA receptors. We've talked about these before, I swear we have. When a drug like Valium binds to a GABA receptor, it increases the flow of certain chemicals to the neuron that mellow the brain out. Japanese researchers made a strong case that the smell of lavender acts on those very same GABA receptors. They did this by treating some mice with, I'll get these hard names, with flumazenil, a drug that blocks GABA receptors. And when those treated mice sniffed the linalool, they didn't exhibit any calming effects.
Oh, so that's probably how they took away their sense of smell. Why did you start on this?
Because I've been meaning to talk about smells for the last two podcasts. We were wanging on too much about
other stuff.
Yeah, getting all sorry for ourselves. I was. Getting self-absorbed. But that's it. Little brain food. Got no life hacks this week. I'll try and bring them back next week for you because we're on a tight ship and we're about to finish.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Mark?
No, I'm going to, apart from being massively controversial next couple of weeks, I'm going to do a couple of, a funny thing happened to me on the way to the Palladium type stories about my life.
All right.
I've been struggling with my long-term memory.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found is I can find a process of reliving. I'll tell you this very, very quickly. I read a paper that said, in short, everything you've ever seen, heard, or experienced in your life is in your brain, but your ability to bring it out, varies. And what I'm finding as I'm getting older is that there are certain things in my brain that are as clear as crystal, certain elements of my life. So I can remember at school, for example, a whole host of things, mostly the beatings, but I can remember other things as well. But there's whole years or whole numbers of people.
Just gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
So I've started doing, and I don't know if this is a thing, there might be a name for it. What I've started doing is, I'm trying to find a word for it. I don't know what the word is. So this is what I do. I find a physical place where I know I was in my life. Mm-hmm. And I create a picture in my mind of that. And I was saying to someone the other day, like if I want to create colours in my mind, so I can fill my mind with a colour.
Yeah, you're talking about, you've been purple recently, haven't you?
And they were saying, how can you do that? And I said, literally, so I can see, with my eyes open, with my eyes shut, my brain is full of a colour. Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is creating the picture of a memory. So the other day, I created the picture of my childhood, the kitchen of my childhood. Mm. And almost like doing sort of Google Earth, I was able to look around and by concentrating, come up with so many really intensive things. So the brand of the kettle.
All right.
And the colour of the buttons.
This all came back to you?
All came back. And it's literally, you just have to, you start with the big picture of the kitchen. It's almost like a virtual reality. You go into a corner.
Oculus.
And what happened with me, so for example, I went round to the sink and I could see the sink and I could see the rack for the plates. And then as I homed in, I realised we had one of those rubber things that you stick on the end of the tap. I never knew why you did them, but they did back in the day.
Oh, it was... Yeah, okay.
It's almost like
a little nozzle, a short nozzle.
I don't quite know why, but...
Does that just stop it spraying everywhere?
I guess.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, and I couldn't remember we had that, and then I could see it, and then I could see the colour of it, and the texture, and you keep homing it.
It's like self-regression or something.
Yeah, but what I found was, if I did the sort of 360 vision, I could see exactly where and I'm testing this with my sister.
Just make sure you're not making it up.
Am I right in thinking this? So what I then came to was that the table... We used to turn the table upside down and pretend it was a boat. So I physically, in my mind, turned the kitchen table upside down and straight away I could see the wing nuts that were holding the legs on. Right. And those are real. It isn't a false memory. It wasn't a picture that I just created in my own curiosity. So I came right down on those and I could see the wood and the wing nuts. But the more you look, the more you see. And I don't know whether this is a thing or whether this happens.
That's pretty powerful.
So that's maybe my task for you, is to find something that you have a vision of from your past, a memory, and look at the physical space.
Well, where are you when you're doing this? You're giving yourself some time. You're not doing this in the car.
Yeah, you have to have your eyes
just
shut.
Wake up, you're in a ditch.
The wing nuts.
You didn't say why your car was in the garage.
You mended my light, by the way, for free.
Oh, good point.
Most of the other things couldn't be mended.
Like the leaking petrol tank.
Yeah,
that would explain the smell of petrol for the last 9 months, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and the scratches down the side and the bumper that I smashed. But anyway, so what I do...
So where are you when you're in a meditative state?
No, not in a meditative state. I can just be sitting on my bed or just sitting in a chair, just somewhere quiet.
It's pretty cool.
I'm even doing it now. Literally while we're doing it, I've just gone into the garden and I've just pictured the swing, which I'd forgotten about, and it was a metal swing and it was a British racing green. And I didn't know if you'd asked me, but I've now... I'm right by that swing now.
It's pretty impressive.
After
all those drugs you've taken.
Or because of. I don't think it is. I mean, have a go this week. Take yourself to a place, maybe childhood.
Yeah.
Maybe just a room, and then home in, microscopic.
Yeah. Give it a whirl.
Yeah, just remember that.
That's it for this episode. Well done for getting this far, and thanks for listening to us. Give us a follow on Instagram @I'mFinecast. And I'm just going to come out with this, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit worried about our numbers. I think people
are working again, aren't they? Fuckers.
Yeah.
You either need to do a BPD special.
So please, if you listen to us, please can you send please can you send us an email to imfinecast@gmail.com. Just with anything, an expletive, what you think of us. Just a hello.
Yeah, let's be a bit more pushy.
Childhood. Yeah, just do it because we.
Well, tell us what your kitchen table was like. Kitchen table special.
About your wing nuts. Then please do. It'd be nice to hear from you. Please, we're not fed up of resident army captains' emails. We love them.
No,
So
I will read that straight after.
Yeah. Please give us a review on Apple Podcasts if you can be bothered. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about choices. We're also going to cover a little bit of free will because we mentioned the Sam Harris podcast ages ago.
Yeah.
And choices and free will will go together nicely. I will do a little bit of an update on my see if I can. We talked about the physique in that thing, physique rating.
Yeah,
I guess 2 is pretty low. So is it out of 10?
No, it's out of 9, but they're not ordered.
What?
So 6 is the best.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's a very strange. That's why it's subjective.
Do I have any chance of getting anywhere near a 6 in your profession? Okay, I won't set that as a target.
No, just get out of being a 2.
I mean. What's the next one if they're not ordered? What's after 2?
I trained someone and she was a 6. I've never reached 6.
Oh, right.
She was an elite athlete.
Okay, what's next then after 2? What if is it not ordered? 7? I mean,
one's worse than 2 and 5 is just below 6.
What is this?
We'll go through the chart.
Okay, we'll have a follow-up. Anything else, Mark, before we go? Speak now. Okay, cool. We'll see you next week. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.